I'm Dr. Edith Perez, a professor of medicine at Mayo Clinic in the departments of hematology, oncology, as well as cancer biology. Yes, I was born in Puerto Rico and then did all my specialty training in California. Then I went to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, after which I moved to the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. Also did actually 3 years as vice president for U.S. Medical Affairs for Genentech and Roche. I'm no longer doing that. I stopped doing that in May 2018. But I've been a Mayo consultant and professor of medicine, which I am doing right now. So my career has spanned from really a lot of educational activities, basic research, clinical research, and ultimately, translational research. This has included evaluation of strategies to evaluate novel agents and to harness the power of science to conduct and develop actually national and clinical trials that have led to the availability of newer agents for patients with a variety of cancers, particularly breast cancer. It's actually the marrying of the findings in the research laboratories, what we call basic research or bench research, with clinical studies in human beings. And this is the optimal way to advance science overall, as well as ultimately the care of patients. Because if we can combine what's happening at the molecular level when persons have disease with the disease and how disease affects persons, then we can find better options for prevention and ultimately a cure. So this is translational medicine, a marrying of basic findings in the laboratory with clinical findings in human beings. In order to conduct this translational clinical trials, it's really very important for us in the academic world to collaborate with foundations like yours and patients and supporters like yours, because it is through this collaboration of obtaining appropriate biospecimens, and by that I mean, blood specimens or, progressive radiologic studies or even biopsies when clinically appropriate, and then understanding the findings from those biomarkers with what is happening to human beings, are really, really important things for the future. The parallels of research are really very clear to me between pulmonary fibrosis and cancer. These are diseases that affect people in significant ways, and not only the patient who is diagnosed, but also families and friends. It has been very difficult to prevent cancer as well as pulmonary fibrosis, but we've begun to better understand risk factors in both types of disorders so that we can help people potentially reduce risk. But more than that, the similarity is that there has been a significant advance in the understanding of the molecular basis of these two disorders, leading to better clinical trials, better translational trials, and ultimately, better drugs compared to what was available 20 years ago. So complex disorders affecting many people in a significant way, progress in biology, progress in the collaborative effort, and better treatments. The most exciting aspect of all of this is for me to really be aware of the amazing amount of progress that is being made in biological understanding of disease. As I believe that the better understanding of biology is what's going to lead to better medications and better treatment for patients. So that's number one, the rapid progress of understanding the molecular alterations associated with different diseases, as well as the focus of government, industry, academic institutions to develop medicines that are targeting molecular abnormalities of disorders. And the third issue is that there has been an amazing improvement in patient involvement as part of the dialogue with all of us, so that we can develop better strategies. In terms of challenges related to progress in cancer as well as pulmonary fibrosis, they're varied. Number one, we can think about ways to cure these diseases that we think might be available in X number of years. But we also need to think about the persons diagnosed with the disease today and figure out ways that we can collaborate and leverage existing tools so that we not only think about the future, but we also think about today. And sometimes it's hard because some people say, Edith, you should just invest all the money in prevention. Well, the challenge with this is that then we will forgetting the thousands of people suffering from disease today. So I think, balancing the investment in different aspects, it's really important at any time. Again, this can be best conducted if we have different stakeholders at the table, certainly including patients. Well, actually, I'm developing the discussion at the summit, and I'm asking actually questions of different persons to best outline my plan, because I have a lot of experience in drug development. I have a lot of experience working certainly with the National Cancer Institute, the Food and Drug Administration, regulatory agencies, not only here in the United States, but also globally. As well as having a tremendous amount of interest and experience listening to patients, as well as providing education for patients and healthcare providers. So what I would like to do is put, what I've been able to accomplish, again, by having a passion for improvement of patient care in the area of cancer, and how we can just parallel these strategies for the development of new treatments for patients with pulmonary fibrosis. Again, it's a matter of biology, better care today, thinking about the possibilities for new research, and ultimately to improve patients' lives. So I think I'm going to be able to span from biology to clinical trials to what I believe the future can be if we work best together. I hope that at the summit in November, I'm going to have a chance to help to inspire people, to inspire them based on sharing the path that we've taken to combine science with clinical trials and ultimately clinical care, so that patients can have a better outcome. And for them to really realize that not everything is doom and gloom. Actually, there's great hope for best care today, but I tell you, the future is completely bright. Having the ability to actually meet face-to-face with more supporters, more funders, more researchers involved in the field will be, an honor for me, because what I want to do at this stage is really leverage for the betterment of science and patients. And it crosses, from cancer to pulmonary fibrosis to all other significant disorders. And strategies are actually consistent from disease to disease. Patients, the ability of government and industry and academia to work together, connected with patients so that they can see progress is being made, they can be part of further progress, and that the future will be even better than today.